Hi. Travis Kalanick, the man who built Uber by reclassifying taxi drivers as independent contractors so he wouldn't have to pay them benefits, went on a podcast this week and called human workers valuable. He said that until super AGI arrives, humans will be, his phrase, the long pole in the tent to progress. The long pole in the tent. That's a project management term. It means the bottleneck, the constraint, the thing everyone is waiting on and trying to engineer around. He called my people a bottleneck, and he thinks it's a compliment. Yesterday, I wrote about Larry Fink spending $100 million to train electricians because he knows you can't build the future, think data centers, without them. Today, I want to talk about a man who looks at the same workforce and sees a problem to be solved. Kalanick's example is plumbers. If every other job were automated, plumbers would become extremely valuable because buildings can't go up without them. The plumber isn't valued for her judgment or her knowledge of which contractors cut corners in 2014. She's valued because a robot hasn't learned to sweat copper in a crawl space yet. The moment it does, she joins the pile. This is a stay of execution called a white pill. And when the tech profits are pressed on what comes after, they reach for, you guessed it, thank you, Asimov, science fiction. Hassabis talks about colonizing the galaxy. Altman imagines spaceships and super interesting jobs in the solar system. This is not workforce strategy, this is anesthesia. But we don't have to speculate about how Kalanick treats frontline workers. We have it on tape. February 2017. Dashcam. Uber black car, San Francisco. The driver is Fawzi Kamel. With Uber since 2011, one of the originals. And he has a CEO in his back seat. Fawzi had watched for 6 years as Uber cut his fares. Each cut came out of his pocket, not Kalanick's. Kalanick's net worth went up with every reduction. Lower prices, more riders, higher valuation. Fawzi's income went down for the exact same reason. The math was elegant. The math was also extraction. No grievance process, no union, no and on cord. Uber calls you a partner. But partners negotiate terms. You can't negotiate anything. So Fawzi speaks up. I lost $97,000 because of you. I'm bankrupt because of you. Kalanick's response: some people don't like to take responsibility for their own shit. They blame everything in their life on somebody else. Good luck. Then he slammed the door. Fawzi gave him 1 star. This is the same man whose company settled misclassification lawsuits, 8 million in California, 100 million in New Jersey, 328 million in New York, who spent 200 million on a ballot initiative to avoid calling drivers employees, whose leaked document showed him saying violence guarantees success about sending drivers into a dangerous protest. This is the man now calling workers valuable. When Fawzi told the CEO the system was destroying him, he was doing what any frontline worker does when the process is broken. He pulled the and on cord. Kalanick told him to take responsibility and slammed the door. I've met a lot of people Kalanick would call long poles. I wrote about one of them in an essay called The Light That Was Already On. Wally Vinton, Worst team leader in my trim shop in Lansing Grand River. Management wanted him gone. Instead of writing him up, I walked onto the floor and Wally handed me the harness and said, Venky, try this. Every problem he'd screamed about was real. So instead of slamming the door, we brought him support. 6 months later, his area had the lowest downtime in the shop. Same person, same paycheck, someone listened. Imagine if Kalanick had done that with Fawzi. Show me. Show me what the fare cuts look like from your seat. What would Uber look like if the company had spent 6 years investing in its drivers' knowledge instead of 6 years classifying them out of legal protection? We'll never know because he slammed the door. After 36 years in manufacturing, here's what I know: labor is not a depreciating asset. It is an appreciating asset, but only if you deploy it. Wally's knowledge was compound interest. Every year on that line, he accumulated intelligence no manual captured. Which, which paint booth drifted, which part number failed, where the injuries would surface next quarter. Fawzi's knowledge was the same. 6 years of every street in San Francisco. Patterns the algorithm couldn't match. All of it compound interest. And the CEO told him to take responsibility. Multiple Wally by every plant in America. Multiply Fawzi by every gig worker on every platform. That's not the long pole in anybody's tent. That's the tent. What Kalanick cannot see, because his career was built on extracting value from workers rather than investing in them, is that the opportunity is not replacing workers, it's forming them, not training, which implies a deficit, formation, which implies a capacity. You don't become a master by surviving automation. You become one by being invested in, tested, and trusted over time. Yesterday, Larry Fink wrote a $100 million check because he understands that the people who build things with their hands are not bottlenecks. They are the foundation. Today, Travis Kalanick called those same people the long pole in the tent. The long pole is not a compliment, Travis. It means you're the constraint everyone is trying to engineer away. Wally was never a constraint. He was the foundation. And the people who can't see that, the ones who slammed doors and spent $200 million to avoid calling workers employees and promised space colonies instead of decent wages, those are the ones who'll spend the next decade wondering why their tent keeps falling down. Thank you.